Hello friends, welcome you all to Gnandeep Academy for UPSC Pune. In this video, if you want to watch this series on Indian polity where I have made an attempt to cover almost all point of Lakshmikant, you can join this course on our Gnandeep IAS Academy app which you can get on a Play Store. This app, it has inner circle completely red and outer circle quite bluish greenish. You can join this app and all other important instructions are available on that store and that app itself. So if you feel that these videos are very good, do watch, do share with your friends. Your suggestions and all your comments are very welcome. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Hello friends, welcome you all to Gnandeep Academy. In continuation to the topic on our parliament, today we will study various procedures or various tools which are available in the hands of Indian Parliament to carry out various functions, to carry out its work as a legislature of Indian Union. So let's start with it. Devices of parliamentary proceeding. Now one important thing which I want to make it very clear. What is parliament? Now we have one very simple definition of parliament. Parliament is law-making organ at central level in India. First thing. Then second case. What it is called as? Parliament is called as legislative organ, that is law-making organ, right? So another important feature of parliament is deliberation house. Deliberation house where discussion on various important laws, important proposals, important bills, important issues before government of India carries on, and this discussion is being taken by the representative of people who are called as members of parliament. So basically, Parliament is a deliberation house. Then how it carries out all these important discussions, debates, deliberations. What are the various tools available in the hands of members of parliament to keep check on executive, to have security of public purse, means money of public, to how to ensure that Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers work in line with the ideals, credentials of Indian Constitution. This everything shall be ensured by Parliament. And what are the tools available in the hands of Parliament to carry out all these functions are devices of parliamentary proceeding. They are devices of parliamentary proceeding. So now we'll go for all these devices of parliamentary proceeding in a very simple and lucid manner. Now first thing, first important R of the parliamentary proceeding, which is Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, is question R. Every member of parliament, every citizen of India has the right to ask questions to whom? To Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. Why? Because we elected them, we represented them, we gave them those positions on behalf of us to carry out this government for us. That's why we have every rightful choice to ask questions for them. That's why in Parliament, first R is dedicated to question R, right? First thing. So now from technical perspective, the question R is not mentioned in the Constitution. It is not brought out by any law. Then where the question R is mentioned? Remember, question R is mentioned in rules of procedures of Lok Sabha as well as rules of procedures of Rajya Sabha. So this is first part. Question R's are mentioned in rules of procedures of Lok Sabha or they are mentioned in rules of procedures of Rajya Sabha. First R of every parliamentary setting is dedicated to question, where members of parliament will ask question to members of executive. Now here one thing, every parliamentary institution has its dignity, has its own decorum. It means whenever a question is being asked by any member of parliament, that member of parliament will not ask question individually towards any minister. Yet, you might have seen the proceedings of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. In Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, any member of parliament do not ask question directly. I want to ask Prime Minister, I want to ask Home Minister, I want to ask Health Minister, I want to ask Finance Minister. This is not the right way to ask the question. Why? Because as per parliamentary rules, regulations, dignity and honor, that question is not asked by single member. Though that single member is standing and he is asking the question, but by rule, that question does not belong to that single member. That question belongs to entire house, right? So question asked by a single member is like a question asked by entire house. And when that minister is replying to that question, here that minister is not replying to that single person. Here the minister is replying to entire house. So that's why whenever a member asks a question, he says, Honorable Speaker, Sir, Speaker, Madam, through you, I want to ask this question to Finance Minister, why there is slump in GDP? Then when answer to this question comes from Finance Ministry says that Honorable Speaker, Sir, Speaker, Madam, through you, I want to answer this house. That minister will not answer, or that minister will not use, or that minister will not utter the name of that person or the member who has asked the question. Minister will answer to this entire house because question has came from house, so answer must go to the house. This is the parliamentary decorum. It is the dignity. What you see in news or what you read from journalists, there are quite few things, but actually it is the decorum of parliament that when a question is asked by any member, it is not asked by a single member, it is asked by entire house. And when answer is given by minister, that minister do not give answer to single person, but the minister gives answer to entire house. Now, what are the types of questions which are being asked in first hour of parliamentary proceeding? Before that, again remember, question R is mentioned in rules of procedures of Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha. Second point, first hour of every parliamentary sitting is dedicated to question hour. It means from 11 o'clock in the morning to 12 o'clock in the morning, this first hour is being dedicated to question hour. First point. Now, what are the types of question? First is starred question. What is star? While teaching polity, I told you at many places I said that I will star mark this point. So, if I put a star on this word question hour, then that line has become starred. So, it is a starred question. What is the idea of starred question? For every starred question, minister or member of parliament has to give oral answer. Answer must be oral. Second point, suppose a minister has asked us, suppose a member of parliament has asked a starred question. Then minister has replied. Then again, this member or any other member of parliament has a right to ask supplementary question to minister through speaker or through chairman of Rajya Sabha. So this is the basic. Starred question, answer is always given orally, and after that oral answer, supplementary question will follow. Right? Once you get the answer, you have the right to ask supplementary question to that question once again. Then second type of question is unstarred question. Means on that question, asterisk mark is not given. In case of unstarred question, answers are given in a written format. Unstarred question, no supplementary questions can be asked as answer is given in a written format. Then third type is short notice question. Those questions which are asked to executive with a notice of less than 10 days. It is called a short notice question. And these short notice questions must be answered orally. So here two things are there. It means start questions and unstart question have a notice period of more than 10 days. I repeat once again, for start question and unstart question, the notice period is more than 10 days. But in case of short notice question, the notice is less than 10 days. Notice is less than 10 days and answers are oral answer. And here basically usually answers are given by ministers. Ministers usually give the answers. So this is first parliamentary proceeding to ensure accountability of executive through parliament. I repeat this line once again. Question hour is one of the most important device to ensure accountability and responsibility of executive to parliament, to people, to representatives. Question hour. Then second is 0 hour. It is an Indian innovation brought in the year 1962. It is not mentioned in rules of procedure. See, what happened? Your parliamentary proceeding starts at 11 a.m. Right? Then it continues till 12 o'clock. After 12 o'clock till the lunch, right? Till lunch time, this 0 hour goes on, 0 hour. Now, why it is called as 0 hour? Basically, parliament is a short of time. Parliament do not have expertise. and they have to carry out everything in the form of debates and discussions, and very less pinpointed things are discussed in the parliament, and this leaves or this makes shortage of time, money and all those things. That's why it is the responsibility of speaker in the Lok Sabha and it is the responsibility of chairman in Rajya Sabha to decide the chronology of all important bills, rules, regulations, laws, issues that are going to be discussed in the parliament. So, this program of all important bills, draft, legislations that are going to be discussed in the parliament are decided by speaker and chairman along with Minister of Parliamentary Affairs. And this entire program of that session is called as agenda. This agenda has everything fixed and everything should go as per the agenda set in the that agenda program or that agenda paper. Now what happened? At many time it happens that you have set the agenda 15 days back and the last 15 days few things have cropped up, and these things are very, very important. They are urgent matter. They have definite structure and they must be discussed urgently. But our agenda is so watertight that it is not possible to take this subject into the agenda. Then during this time period, a window is kept open where you can put a subject for discussion in the parliament without prior notice. A window is kept in parliamentary proceeding where a subject can be put in parliamentary proceeding without prior notice. That window starts at 12 o'clock and it continues till lunch. It is called as 0 hour. It is called as 0 hour. Why 0 hour? Because in this 0 hour, no subject, no program, no bill, no draft, no issue of agenda is taken. Nothing from agenda is taken. Zero from agenda is taken. That's why it is a 0 hour which starts at 12 o'clock and continues till the lunch time. It is an informal device of parliamentary control. This word is important because you could definitely get question on these kinds of words. It's an informal device. Its main purpose is to raise matters without any prior notice in the parliament. 0 hour is generally taken after question hour and it is taken till the agenda of the day is taken for the work. That is, it is being taken till the lunch time or till the agenda for the day is taken for the consideration by Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. It means first is question hour, then it is 0 hour, then agenda for the day is taken for the consideration. So this is normal flow of working of the Indian Parliament. The next important word is motion. You might have heard many times this word motion. Two important words are being used. See, what is motion? Motion is simply a kind of permission asked to discuss, to raise a matter in the parliament. It is a motion. So in simple term, what is motion? Motion is simply a permission asked by member of parliament to the chair. Honorable Speaker, through you, I want to put the motion in the house to discuss this matter. Honorable Speaker, through you, I want to put this resolution in the house to discuss this matter. Clear? So remember, motion and resolution are two important parliamentary tools which are used to discuss important issues into the house. Then what is the basic difference between motion and resolution if both are used to discuss in the house? See, first, motion is used for discussion on matters of general public importance. So motion is used for discussion, whereas resolution is used for raising attention of the house. Remember this basic difference. I repeat once again. Motion is used to discuss important matters, whereas resolution is used for raising attention of the house towards a matter of general public importance. So this is basic difference. Now, here we will try to understand various types of motions and also various types of resolutions and what is the basic difference between these motions and resolutions. Before that, I want to repeat the definition once again. Motion is used to take permission of chair in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha for discussion on a matter of general public importance in the house. It is called as motion. Then various types of motions are there. First one is a substantive motion. What is substantive motion? The motion which is putting one of the most important subject in the parliament, in the Lok Sabha or in the Rajya Sabha for discussion is a substantive motion. It is called as substantive motion. Substantive motion, it has self-contained independent proposal, means it is an independent important subject. Very important matter is taken for discussion. Like for example, I am a member of parliament and I want to raise substantive motion. Then what I will do? While raising this substantive motion, I will use the word honorable speaker, through you I want to put this substantive motion in the house where I want to discuss on the impact of demonetization. Now see, demonetization, what is demonetization? What were the causes of demonetization? What was the machinery involved in demonetization? What are the impacts of demonetization? Everything has been taken into the consideration under this demonetization. That's why the word demonetization is an independent subject. And this is the reason why we are talking the word demonetization as a substantive motion. Clear? So, substantive motion, which is self-contained independent proposal, where we discuss very, very important matter. So, it is a substantive motion. First point. Then, second is substitute motion. Right? Substitute motion, it is like a substitute player. A motion or a permission which is being put in the parliament to replace or to substitute original motion, and this substitute motion will contain all important data or things which are related with the substantive motion also, and will try to cover another important aspects also. For example, what I have told you regarding substantive motion, honorable speaker, through you I want to have discussion on demonetization. What will be substitute motion? Honorable speaker, through you I want to put a motion on recent decisions taken by Ministry of Finance Affairs. Now here recent decisions taken by Ministry of Finance will be demonetization, GST will be there, and all other important decisions taken by Finance Ministry will be there, which will be the part of this demonetization, or which will be the part of this motion. Clear? So substitute motion, it is substitution of an original motion and it proposes an alternative. It proposes an alternative to original motion. Means what substitute motion says? It says instead of discussing only demonetization, why not discuss recent decisions taken by Finance Ministry? Now, substitute motion is again of various types. First one is ancillary motion. Ancillary motion is used in regular way of proceeding for your regular way of working. The next is superseding motion. It is moved during debate for discussion on another issue. Superseding motion. Then amendment motion, to modify or to substitute only a part of original motion, remaining original motion continues. It is a amendment motion. So remember, this substitute motion is again of three types. One is ancillary motion, second is superseding motion, and third one is amendment motion. These are three types of substitute motion. Now third, subsidiary motion. What is subsidiary motion? This subsidiary motion itself does not have independent subject. It does not have independent meaning. It comes as an attachment or as a supplement to main motion. That's why it is called as subsidiary motion. Like for example, what I said in the substantive motion, honorable speaker, through you, I want to put a motion for discussion on demonetization. Then what will be subsidiary motion for that? Honorable speaker, through you, I want to put a motion for discussion on impact of demonetization on unorganized sectors women. See, demonetization has many dimensions, and all these many dimensions will have been discussed through substantive motion. But through subsidiary motion, that member do not want to discuss entire demonetization. That member wants to discuss only the part of the motion which covers what? Which covers unorganized sectors women. Which covers unorganized sectors women. So it is called as a subsidiary motion. So itself has no independent meaning and it comes with original or substantive motion. It is called as subsidiary motion. Before putting substantive motion, substitute motion or subsidiary motion, consent of the presiding officer is needed. Who are presiding officer? In Lok Sabha, it is speaker who will be presiding officer, whereas in Rajya Sabha, it is chairman who will be the presiding officer. Their consent is very, very essential to put these kinds of motion. Then next is a closer motion. Closer. Now what is closer? That you want to stop the discussion. You feel that this particular subject has been discussed a lot and you want that this discussion should be stopped. In this case, you uses a motion which is called as a closer motion. That is, you uses a word. Honorable Speaker, this subject has been discussed a lot and I want to use closer motion to stop discussion on this subject and a new subject should be taken for the discussion. It is a closer motion. So, to cut short debate on a matter before the House, closer motions are used. Closer motion. First, substantive motion. Second, substitute motion. Third, subsidiary motion. Fourth, closer motion. It means when you want to stop discussion on a particular subject, you use closer motion. Now, there are various types of closer motions are there. See, first one, it is a simple closure. When a matter has been sufficiently discussed and that matter should be put to vote, we use simple closure. It means you feel that this matter has been sufficiently discussed and there is no need to go for this discussion. There is no need to extend the discussion on this matter. We use simple closure. It means, Honorable Speaker, through you, I want to put a simple closure on demonetization and new subject or new motion should be taken for the discussion. It is a simple closure motion. Here, you have to keep two words in mind. When a matter is sufficiently discussed, this word is important. When a matter is sufficiently discussed, we use simple closure motion. When a matter is sufficiently discussed, we use simple closure motion. Second, closure by compartment. Now, what is closure by compartment? Very interesting. Let us say we want to discuss a bill. This bill has total 150 points. Now, we all of us know Parliament has shortage of time. Parliament has shortage of expert people. Parliament is an institution of amateur people. And most importantly, the members of Parliament have many works to do. So it happens that it is not possible to go in detailings of a bill. But still we want to discuss the bill. Then what happens if a bill has 150 points? Is it possible to discuss all 150 points in a house of 500 plus people? No, it's not possible. So in this case, what happened? In this case, instead of discussing all 150 points, they compartmentalize these 50 points into various parts, into various components, into various compartments. Like for example, this bill has an introduction. Then this bill has a machinery. Then this bill has a particular funding pattern, how funds will come. Then this bill has certain positive targets, the targets must be achieved. And finally, this bill has a grievance redressal mechanism where the problems of the stakeholders will be discussed. Now, instead of discussing all 150 points, here these 150 points are compartmentalized into these 5 sections. And instead of discussing 150 points, we discuss these 5 parts. It is called as closure by compartment. Only parts are debated and discussed and entire subject is put to vote. All these 150 subjects are put to vote, but discussion will take on how many parts or how many compartment. Only 5 parts or compartment will be discussed and the entire remaining portion will be put for the vote. It is called as closure by compartment. It is called as closure by compartment. Clear? First is by simple closure. Second is by closure by compartment. Right? So instead of discussing all 150 subjects, these 150 subjects are compartmentalized, classified into these 5 subjects and they are put for the vote. It is called as closure by compartment. It is called as closure by compartment. Now third one is kangaroo closure. Now what is kangaroo closure? Kangaroo is an Australian animal. Marsupials. What they do? They hop. Right. So same in case of this closure by kangaroo closure, only important subjects are discussed. Then out of those 150 subjects of that bill, first, then 49th, then 50th, then 100, then 101, 103, 105, 119, 145, 146 and 150. So only these subjects will be discussed and the remaining part will not be discussed. It is called as kangaroo closure. It means only important clauses are taken for debate and remaining parts are not taken for debate. It is called as kangaroo closure. See, basic difference between closure by compartment and kangaroo closure. In closure by compartment, we classify these subjects into compartments and instead of discussing subject, we discuss this compartment. In kangaroo closure, we do not classify these 150 subjects into compartment. What we do, we only take only important subjects for the discussion and remaining subjects are not taken for discussion. It is a kangaroo closure. Guillotine closure. Normally what happens? In that agenda of Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, a particular bill is given certain time limit. Let us say, for example, a bill is given a time limit of 3 hours. In 3 hours, we are going to discuss 120 subjects of this bill, 120 subjects. But we found that at the end of 2.5 hour, we could discuss only 50 subjects and 70 subjects are remaining. Then in that last half hour, these remaining 70 subjects are put to vote and discussion is stopped. It is called as guillotine closure. It means undiscussed clauses are put to vote along with discussed clauses. Here total subjects were 120. Time limit given was 3 hours. At the end of 2 hours, we found only 50 subjects have been discussed and 70 subjects are yet to be discussed. But at the end of the time limit given, discussed as well as undiscussed subject, both these points are put to vote. It is called as guillotine closure and discussion is stopped. It is called as guillotine closure. I will repeat these closures once again. These are important. See, closure motion. What is the purpose of closure motion? To stop discussion on a particular subject. What is the purpose of closure? To stop discussion on a particular subject. First one, simple closure. When a matter has been sufficiently discussed, then simple closure is used to take that matter for the voting. Closure by compartment. Instead of discussing all subjects, these subjects are being classified into compartments and only these compartments are being are being discussed and put to vote. It is a closure by compartment. Next one is kangaroo closure. In kangaroo closure, only important subjects are discussed. Other subjects are not discussed. Is a kangaroo closure and that entire bill is put for vote. And then guillotine closure, once the time allotted to a particular bill comes to an end, discussed and undiscussed subjects both are taken together and they are put to vote. It is called as a guillotine closure. It is called as guillotine closure. Clear? Simple closure, closure by compartment, kangaroo closure and guillotine closure. So what we have seen till now, first we have seen what is meaning of motion. Motion is basically a kind of permission from chair of the house to discuss on a matter of public importance. Substantive motion, substitute motion, which involves ancillary motion and other types. Then subsidiary motion. Fourth one is closure motion. Closure motion is again of 4 types. Simple closure, closure by compartment, kangaroo closure, and fourth one is a guillotine closure. So these are closure motions. Now privilege motion. Next one is privilege motion. What is privilege? See, every member of parliament has been elected by people directly except the nominated members of Rajya Sabha or earlier nominated members of Lok Sabha belonging to Anglo-Indian community. Now here privilege motion. See, every member of parliament is a privileged person. Why? Because he represents his or her own constituency. Right? And they are entitled to certain parliamentary privileges. Amongst those parliamentary privileges, one important privilege is to get clear, correct, true and authentic information from ministers, from executive. But if at all any minister or any member of executive or any member in the government gives wrong information, gives false information on the floor of the house, then members of parliament can raise a privilege motion. They can say, Honorable Speaker, through you, I want to put privilege motion as finance minister have put wrong data and wrong fact into the house. It is a privilege motion. See, getting correct information and true fact is a parliamentary privilege. But whenever any minister or any member of government or any person in responsibility puts wrong fact in the parliament, it is breach of parliamentary privilege by a minister. By giving wrong or distracted fact, in this case, the member of parliament, any member of parliament can raise privilege motion where discussion will go on about the lack of authenticity, lack of clarity on the side of the government. So these are certain important motion. We'll come up with more number of these authentic motions for discussion. Till then, thank you very much. Have a good day.